F1's Naughty 90s. Welcome back to The Upshot, the podcast about the funniest stories in sport. My name is Jack. Hello, Zach.
Hi, Jack.
This is the era of proper F1, isn't it, Zach? This is, Murray Walker on comms, cigarette brand plastered all over your liveries. It's glamour models in the grid.
Yeah, pit lane punch-ups. This for me is the golden era, really, of F1.
What they took from us.
It's glamorous, it's dangerous, and there's drama on and off the track.
Yeah, before the data nerds took it from us.
Exactly.
Should we get into it? Where are we starting off?
Yeah, so we're actually picking up the story at the end of the 80s. And I think it's important to say that while things had improved on the safety front from the sort of heyday of danger at F1 in the 1970s, F1 was still dangerous as fuck at this point. So 4 drivers died in the space of 6 years in the 80s. Two in races, 2 in tests. So seriously dangerous. The middle of this decade was dominated by the Frenchman Alain Prost and Brazilian Nelson Piquet. Prost, he obviously was a supremely talented driver, but also a bit of a dirty dog, it's got to be said. So he was best mates with this other French driver, a guy called Jacques Lafitte. The two of them owned this golf resort together. That was until Lafitte set off for the Paris-Dakar Rally in 1990. It was this off-road endurance race that ran from France to Senegal. And Jacques was expecting to be away for a few weeks for this race. But unfortunately for him, his car broke down pretty early doors while he was still in France. So returned home, came through the front door to find Alain Prost in bed with his wife, Bernadette.
Sick. I guess she had no way of knowing he was coming back.
Yeah, I mean, this is like 1990, so unless you got a mobile phone or access to a telephone, you would literally just burst through the door.
Find your wife in bed with your best mate.
Exactly. So Alan and Bernadette actually end up having a kid together 6 years later. After that incident.
So he stays with her, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, he's with his wife throughout this. They're together from like 1980 to 2017. It's a different standards, I think. French and the 90s.
Yeah, and F1.
And F1. It's all sort of taken as a given. Actually, Nelson Piquet, his big rival, was also massive shagger. 7 kids with 4 different women. One of those kids actually is Kelly Piquet, who now goes out with Max Verstappen. And actually, she used to go out with Daniel Kvyat, the Russian driver. He used to drive for Red Bull until he was replaced by none other than Max Verstappen.
Who took his seat and then...
took his seat at Red Bull and then took his girlfriend as well. Which is... Max has really had the last laugh there.
Yeah.
Nothing changes in F1, does it?
The wife swapping's out of hand.
Nelson Piquet, he was one of the big names of the 80s. But in 1988, F1 had a new Brazilian superstar, a new champion, Ayrton Senna. So he won the championship in 88 with McLaren. And perhaps growing a little bit jealous of his handsome young compatriot, Nelson Piquet gave an interview where he baselessly accused Ayrton Senna of being gay.
Oh, so just threw that at him.
I don't think there was any real evidence for it. It was a pretty wide-ranging interview, actually, where he sort of lost the plot a bit. He called Enzo Ferrari senile. Enzo Ferrari being the esteemed founder of the Ferrari team. He also called his former teammate Nigel Mansell an uneducated blockhead with an ugly wife.
Oh, he's an absolute bastard.
He's losing it a bit.
Have a go at the wife.
Yeah, it's a low blow.
I can't imagine. My perception of Nigel Mansell is that he's quite boring. Like, is he the sort of guy who would?
No, I think that's about right. Apparently, Nigel Mansell's he's a member of the Magic Circle, and during his time as an F1 driver, he was also volunteering he was a volunteer constable with the police.
Oh, like a special constable.
Yeah.
Well, so you're just working for free for the police.
Working for the police for free, which has got to be the lamest thing.
Yeah.
It's like this was like mid F1 career. Like during the break between seasons or between races, most of them are in Monte Carlo casino with like supermodels and drinking martinis, and Nigel Mansell's by the side of the M3 with a speed gun.
Do you know why I've stopped you, sir? You Nigel Mansell. Sorry, didn't Nigel Mansell win the world title?
He was world champion.
Yeah, what are you doing, mate?
Volunteering as a
Because
constable.
also, this is the era where money's really flowing in, right? Because I read that Ayrton Senna's making $1 million a race, whereas like before the mid-80s, apparently like drivers are still sharing rooms and stuff. It's quite a bit like football. The money hadn't come and then it suddenly hits, I think, when the cigarette ads come in.
Yeah, this is the 90s is sort of that golden era. It's like the money started to come in, but the professionalism certainly hasn't.
Yeah.
Actually, one point on the gay thing, Ayrton Senna gay accusations, which were completely unfounded. One of Senna's ex-girlfriends actually came out in his defense and said, "If that man's gay, I'd like to have a gay man in my bed every night."
You'd have to say of the two, you're sort of seeing, again, the two Brazilian sides there. There's like Ayrton Senna's quite sort of sexy and swarthy. And then Nelson Piquet, I'd call him sort of in the, we've talked before about the Brazilian names that just sound like middle-aged Englishmen, just like Duncan. For me, Nelson Piquet's more in that bracket.
Yeah, he's your Rodney Marsh.
Yeah.
He's like the football equivalent just before you started having the like sexy,
he's
sexy
knobbly
90s player. Actually,
so I can see why he would try and take down Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
He's probably annoyed by him being more sexy.
Right.
And gay is a serious insult in Brazil back then, I imagine.
In the 90s, I imagine it is. Senna actually shot back at Nelson as well himself in an interview with Playboy, where he declared that he lost his virginity at 13 to a large prostitute. And he was really, really descriptive. He said, "She was big, and I mean really big."
Is that a direct response to PK? He's overcorrected there. Well, I'm not fucking gay. I shagged prostitute when I was 13. She was massive. He's massively overcorrected there.
Yeah. Was that go down well in Playboy?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
It's a nice bit of honesty.
Yeah.
He was quite a big shagger, wasn't he, Senna?
Yeah. So after these comments, he had a string of relationships with some pretty high profile women, including Gachot, who's this Brazilian singer and TV star she's Pele's ex.
Yeah.
They went out for quite a long time, like 6 years or
Wasn't
something.
she really young when she went out with Pele?
She was 17 and he was 41 when they first met.
Mental.
Yeah, it's different.
Well,
different
and then Senna went out with her after.
Yeah, actually, Senna also had a previous girlfriend who was 15 when he was 25.
It's different in Brazil.
Yeah,
it is different. The rules are different, literally.
Yeah.
So hang on, so she went out with Pele and Ayrton, literally two most famous Brazilian.
Yeah,
the goats.
The goats.
She's got a type. Yeah,
got a thing for goats.
like Garrincha. She's got a thing for goats.
different.
That's quite. It must be. Imagine being the person she dates next. When you're just like, at some point, she probably dated someone just like oil.
Yeah, that's sort of the path, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So one of Senna's teammates at McLaren was Gerhard Berger, and the two of them were pretty famous for pranking each other. Kind of went one way, really. I mean, they were both doing pranks, but Senna's were all relatively like quite tame, quite schoolboy, whereas Gerhard took it a bit further. So there was one story of them. They were staying in this hotel before the Australian Grand Prix, 1990, and they had like a team dinner. And at the dinner, people were pushing each other in the pool a bit. Senna had thrown a glass of water in Berger's face. And for revenge, at 3 a.m., Berger found the extension for one of these big hose fire extinguisher type things, stuck it under Senna's hotel room door and turned the valve. And this thing just pumped in like fire extinguisher fluid, blasted it in. Apparently the room looked like there was a bomb had exploded in there afterwards.
So that was in response to having a glass of water
thrown in his face. And he destroyed a hotel room, woke up the entire
drowned
corridor.
him.
Yeah. And then Senna got his revenge by putting some French cheese in the air vent. Which,
he's not quite.
It's more Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Does that work? I guess it would.
Again, Berger took it a bit far in his revenge. He released a whole bag of frogs into Senna's room in the middle of the night. And then Senna apparently had this new briefcase that he was really pleased with. And the two of them were flying in a helicopter somewhere, and Gerhard Berger just took the suitcase and just threw it out the helicopter.
I made my passport sitting there. What are you doing?
Well, actually, funny you should mention passport. The sort of piece de resistance of Berger's pranks on Senna, when he managed to get hold of Senna's passport and replaced the photo of Senna with a close-up picture of a cock and balls, which is funny at the time. It resulted in Senna being detained at the airport for 24 hours before a race, I think.
Well, because he literally got to the desk.
Yeah,
and was like, because passports were quite cut and paste back then.
I think so.
I think they were literally like
Yeah.
you could do it quite easily. What? And so he just opened it.
Yeah.
Business or pleasure, sir? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, yeah, he's sort of taking the pranks a lot further than the other one is. So these are the guys who are sort of dominating the sport as the 80s come to an end. But the start of the 90s, as the money floods in, means that there's like a new breed of character in F1 because the sport had been dominated by grand old names. You know, both the manufacturers and the drivers. It was quite like an established elite until the glossy new era begins with the arrival of the Buccaneers. So these are the entrepreneurs who built teams in their own image, most famously Eddie Jordan. So Eddie Jordan arrives in 91. He's like this really flamboyant Irishman who he'd started out his business career flogging dodgy smoked salmon out the back of a van.
That's great. Like, what's happened to the era of business people starting out like that?
Yeah, Del Boy style. But I was thinking, what is dodgy smoked salmon? Is it off? Obviously Eddie Jordan died quite recently. In his BBC obituary, he was described as a rogue who was sometimes lovable, sometimes dodgy, and occasionally both at the same time. That's what's not to love. Anyway, so Eddie had in the 80s done really well in like lower tiers of motor racing, including F3000 that had become the sort of second tier to F1. And in 91, he launches Jordan Grand Prix, his Formula One team, which brings all this new razzmatazz. So there'd always been grid girls even since the 60s, but he's the one who brings like glamour models and like makes it very like lads mag, puts them front and center as well. The sponsorship's way more aggressive than before. So for his early cars are green for 7-Up, and then later he does them yellow for Benson and Hedges. I mean, again, cigarette advertising had been around for a while, but he just pushes it that bit further. And there is something nostalgic about that.
There really is. So I feel like Benson and Hedges plastered on an F1 car just screams 90s.
Yeah. It's actually great. We've got a picture here because in some countries, smoking ads were already banned. So his solution was to just use like a bit of basically marker pen to block out the letters. So instead of Benson and Hedges, it says "Be on edge."
Just run.
Blocked out a few letters. Yeah. On the track, his first lineup it's quite a risky pair, probably in keeping with his sort of like buccaneering style. So he's got this guy, Andrea de Cesare, who's seen as quite reckless, has a lot of crashes. I mean, crashing was a big part of the sport. Like you were saying, it's still really dangerous then.
Yeah. There was still a lot of like serious accidents.
We were watching before we came on the pod the BBC intro in 1990 to a Grand Prix, and it's got the Fleetwood Mac soundtrack. And they're like, obviously, it's just loads of highlights at the beginning. They're just all crashes.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
I mean, I like it. Like, let's be honest, that's the main reason anyone's watching.
We all know why we're here.
Yeah,
it's just crash. So it's Andrea de Cesare, who's sort of quite reckless. And then his partner, Bertrand Gachot, who was supposed to be the more responsible of the duo until right before the season's even started, he gets himself into a bit of a pickle. So he's in London. Jordan F1 have still yet to race a single race, but they're like, getting everything together. They're just about to agree this sponsorship deal with 7-Up that will make the cars green. And the final bit of it is 7-Up want to meet the driver. So Gachot is in London on his way to meet up with Eddie Jordan and the 7-Up representatives. It's December 1990 and he's late for the meeting. He's driving in his car through London, going through Hyde Park Corner. And it's like, if you've ever driven around Hyde Park Corner, it's fucking annoying traffic. And there's a taxi in front of him who keeps like suddenly braking. He thinks the guy's doing it to wind him up, but who knows? Anyway, Bertrand grows tired of this. And so he decides to give the guy just a little bump in the rear.
Why not?
Little dink. And the cabbie is furious at this. He gets out of his car immediately, screaming at him. Bertrand gets out of his car to confront him. And the cabbie grabs this F1 driver by the collar, pulls his tie really tight. He's in a suit and tie for the meeting.
That's very school.
Yeah. And he's like choking. This is Bertrand Gachot's account. He says the driver is choking him with his tie. This is in the middle of traffic in Hyde Park Corner. Anyway, Gachot, thinking quickly, does what you or I would do. He puts his hand in his pocket and pulls out a canister of tear gas and sprays it in the bloke's face.
Tear gas?
Yeah. CS gas.
What is Bertrand Gachot doing carrying around a can of tear gas?
In his defense, he's Belgian. And I don't know if you remember from school trips, but did you find that like when you used to go on school trips, they had a lot more just like weapons in the shops?
Yeah, they were like bangers and
flick knives, bangers, laser pens.
Yeah, true.
And I think
So
maybe,
is that just a normal thing?
yeah, it's like a self-defense thing. It's like having an alarm or something.
Okay.
It's obviously, in England, it's an offensive weapon.
So normally in the glove box, you got one of those little orange triangles and can of pepper
high-vis
spray.
jacket, some de-icer, and some CS gas. But he must have it on him, on his person. I don't know if actually he went into the glove box and got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he sprays this cabbie with it. And then the bloke's just like a spluttering, blinded mess, like, writhing around. But he is quick thinking enough to jump into Gachot's car and lock himself in it. And then somehow calls the police. I don't know if there's a car phone in there. There could have been. They were around. Or if someone else calls the police. But anyway, the cabbie's like, I'm not getting out of your car till the police come. So they arrive. And Gachot still kind of thinks that like the police are just going to be like, oh, well done for stopping him. But they just immediately arrest him at the scene. So that's before
you're not in Brussels anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's before the season's even started. And his trial date is set, I think it's about 10 races into the season. It's the week before the Belgian Grand Prix. So his home Grand Prix. So he really wants to make that. And it's literally a few days before he goes to court. He says later that he was expecting to just get like a slap on the wrist. He still doesn't really understand that what he's done is like a significant
He does
crime.
think it's like a school trip. It's like, he's going to go to the principal's office, get like after school detention.
They're like, look, I am taking the BB gun away. Yeah, BB guns as well. That's the other thing you always get on school trips. I remember getting back on the coach and we get searched by the teachers.
Yeah.
I think that's what they
I
do.
do. I remember laser pens were a big thing.
Sorry. Anyway, so he thinks he's just going to get a slap on the wrist and then head back to Belgium for testing in Spa, or wherever it is. Instead, the judge bangs him up for 6 months.
Wow, 6 months.
He's in jail the week before the Grand Prix. And he ain't getting out. He goes straight to HMP Brixton.
Wow.
So he's in the slammer, where he actually serves 2 months in the end. He gets it reduced on appeal, but that's quite a long time.
That's a high profile person to be coming to jail now.
Formula One driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he obviously wasn't.
HMP Brixton.
Apparently the other inmates would taunt him that like his replacement drivers were doing really well and he wasn't going to get back in. And he said they also used to walk past my cell and just go, which is probably the most basic joke you can do to an F1 driver. Anyway, meanwhile, Eddie Jordan has got to find a new driver for the Belgian Grand Prix at the last minute, and he's scratching around until he turns to a promising youngster by the name of Michael Schumacher. So Schumacher, he was kind of being talked about already as this like very hot prospect, but he'd just been, a test driver. And he'd never been round the track before at this Grand Prix. So it's like a big gamble, not knowing the track. So beforehand, he just does a lap of it on his foldable bicycle.
On a bicycle?
Yeah,
on his little Brompton.
Yeah. So everyone is dumbfounded when this newcomer who's never raced on the track before qualifies in 7th place. And he does
Very
really
respectable.
well, considering his car is, it's not going to beat the really dominant teams. Unfortunately, there is some car trouble in the race and he doesn't finish, but it's like a remarkable debut. Everyone can see this guy's going to be a star. Gachot's obviously fuming that his seat's been taken by this hot prospect.
The inmates chanting Michael Schumacher outside his cell.
Yeah. Actually, at that Grand Prix, there are pro Gachot protesters. Obviously, it's home turf. We've got a picture of them here wearing T-shirts that say, Gachot, why? What do you mean, why? He sprayed tear gas in someone's face in front of like 100 witnesses. What do you mean, why? What's this as God save the British and Gachot?
Yeah, don't entirely understand that.
His career never really recovers from it. He gets out. Him and Jordan obviously fall out. They rip up his contract. He later calls Eddie Jordan a complete bastard and accuses him of dumping him, which seems quite harsh. He was in jail.
What are you supposed
to do? Wear a Gachot mask. Yeah. But yeah, he never quite hits the heights after that. And actually, Michael Schumacher naffs off to Benetton. There's a big like legal dispute over it, but Eddie Jordan hadn't got Schumacher to sign anything or Benetton to sign anything, so he naffs off to them. Following season, he finishes 3rd, so he's like straight up in the mix. Luckily for Eddie Jordan, he's got plenty more young talent waiting in the wings. This really becomes his calling card, like launching careers. You know, the likes of Rubens Barrichello, blast from the past, isn't it?
Great name.
Katie Price, more on her later, and Eddie Irvine.
Yeah, so Eddie Irvine, he makes his debut in 1993. He's actually 27 when he makes his F1 debut, but arguably goes on to become the biggest playboy of 90s F1. So it's in Japan in 1993 that he makes his debut. And fair to say he doesn't make the best impression on his rivals. So Ayrton Senna is leading that race, cruising to victory. And he ends up lapping Eddie Irvine. But then a couple of laps later, Eddie decides to make a daring move to unlap himself, overtake Ayrton and a daring move that like overtakes Ayrton and another guy in front. It's quite a dangerous thing. And also just a bit of a faux pas in F1 racing to unlap yourself.
Just get in the way of the like leaders.
Yeah. And after the race, Senna is fuming about this and tracks Eddie down in the garages. And there's this big argument they have in front of the whole press. There's transcripts of the whole argument. And it ends with Senna punching Eddie in the face.
That's great.
Which that is some F1 debut. Yeah. Sort of the biggest legend on the grid, really. Get decked by him in your first race.
Yeah. How was your first day at work?
Yeah.
Got punched.
Yeah.
To be fair, given what is going to come later in this episode about about Eddie Irvine, I would argue punch in the face.
Yeah.
Could use the odd punch.
Yeah. Preemptive. So Eddie does a couple of races at the end of the 93 season and does well enough to bag himself a full-time drive at Jordan for the following season. So this is 94. And this is the season that tragedy strikes at the Imola Grand Prix. So there were two serious crashes before the race had even begun. So in the first practice, Rubens Barrichello ends up having to be helicoptered off to hospital after a pretty heavy crash. And then during qualifying, Roland Ratzenberger crashes at 300 kilometers an hour directly headfirst into a concrete wall. And he's basically killed on impact.
So someone died in this.
Someone died in qualifying. Rubens Barrichello could have died in practice. Yeah. Ratzenberger is killed during qualifying. Qualifying, they stop it for 48 minutes and then just carry on. When he was killed,
he died.
He died, and they just carry on qualifying.
Well, they just clean up the mess.
They just sweep the debris off and just crack
careful,
on.
Someone could slip in that and seriously hurt themselves.
Yeah, it's just mental.
That's mental. They're just like, on with the race.
And also the fact that there were no tires or anything. He literally went headfirst into a concrete wall. At the edge of the track.
A dangerous track.
It was a dangerous
track.
Where
is it?
Yeah.
Imola, San
Marino.
So Italy. Sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm joking. Rest of my case. So one of their colleagues has died. There's only 22 of you on the grid.
Yeah. So, one of those been helicoptered off to hospital. Another one's died.
So 10% of people have either been killed or seriously injured.
Yeah, but they just
48 minutes.
They 48-minute break, carry on with qualifying, and then just crack on with the race as well the next day. And of course, famously on lap 7, tragedy strikes again, and 3-time champion Ayrton Senna crashes out and is also killed. Tragic moment. Again, they just restart the race 40 minutes later. Just carry on.
Sorry.
It's like,
what?
Yeah.
So they don't call the race off.
They don't call the race off.
They don't even take a day off.
No.
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
That is literally
40 minutes.
Like, clear up the wreck.
Clear up the wreck.
Get out of the way.
Get the bloodstains off the.
Do they know he's dead at that point?
I don't know if they. I think it's later found that he basically died on impact, but.
Also, is he not the biggest name in the sport?
Yeah. It's mental that they force them to carry on these races.
So that's like now if Max Verstappen
had died and like one of the others had been killed in qualifying as well.
And
it's insane.
We'll get the safety car on and then can you lot be back on the grid
in 40 minutes? 40 minutes later.
That's a piss break, basically.
Yeah. But the race carries on. Michael Schumacher wins it.
Of course he fucking does.
And actually the only concession they do make to the gravity of the situation, there's no champagne on the podium. still do the trophy presentation and all of their sort of post-race interview duties and everything.
Out of interest, I would like to know, you probably don't know the answer, but when Schumacher won, did he do the old fist in the air?
I did watch the podium, and he is quite muted, but when they still do the anthems and everything, and he's sort of like giving the crowd a wave. It's
That's
crazy.
Mental.
It's impossible to imagine that they would do anything similar now.
What's the deal there? Is it just like, well, people die in this sport?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, there were 4 deaths in the 80s, but before that, if you go through, like, there's a Wikipedia page of deaths in F1.
60s and 70s was
mental.
Insane.
It's like RAF fighter pilot vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, just say goodbye to your mates because one of them's going down this race.
Which, I mean, it sort of makes sense why they live such hedonistic lifestyles off the track, because they literally could just die anytime.
Yeah. Do you think that's why they're quite just like, right, on with the show?
Yeah, I mean, even in Schumacher's interview after that race, he obviously says like, this is tragic, but like, just like, well, all we can hope is that we can make some improvements on the back of this and we go again.
Is he referring to shaving a second off next week? And I'd just like to thank Vodafone.
Yeah.
That seems mental to me. Because I thought Ayrton Senna's death was a massive deal.
Yeah, I mean, so afterwards it does result in the introduction of a lot of new safety measures. And there are no more deaths until 2015.
Oh, so this is when
Jules Bianchi was killed he just crashed in 2014 and died a year later.
So this is when F1 really takes. This is when BBC probably get rid of the crashes and the highlights.
Yeah.
Next season,
this has been not such a big sale.
I want to tune in next week and see Rubens Barrichello getting helicoptered to hospital.
It is. I mean, it's an interesting point, really, because obviously that is like a big part of the selling point of F1, and I mean, it's like now it is like ultra safe and it's a bit more boring.
It's lost something.
It has like, obviously nobody wants to see like people getting seriously injured, but you do want to see a good crash.
Yeah. In a way, driving's got like that in general, hasn't it? It's a lot safer and it's a bit less fun. Probably on balance prefer that.
Yeah. It's probably,
just making my case for ULEZ and 20 mile an hour zones. But yeah, you're right. F1 has obviously lost the key frisson, which is like,
they could die.
Yeah, could they? Yeah.
A good thing. A good thing there is less death. Obviously, Ayrton Senna's death, this crash, does send shockwaves around the world. It's a tragedy. Back in Brazil, he gets a state funeral. By some estimates, 2 million people line the streets of Sao Paulo for his funeral.
Because is this one of those where he was already a national hero? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously death can slightly change people's perception.
Yeah. I mean, he's sort of...
He's a goat.
He's a goat. He is a goat. The season, much like the race itself, just continues. No break. No break at all. They just crack on again a couple of weeks later. And
any sort of like gestures towards Ayrton Senna?
Don't know, actually. Yeah. I think the champagne was back at the following race. Yeah, different times. Do you think it's a bit like, you know how when you look at like birth records from the Victorian era and people had like 13 kids and like 6 of them just died.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of taken as given that was like
you're playing the percentages.
Yeah.
You got to throw a bit of the wall,
and you just like
sticks.
doesn't really touch the sides when people get killed.
Yeah, you just have to get used to it. Yeah. No, I think it is. I mean, they always say there's that quote about the plague when it was like seeing a dead body in the street was no weirder than seeing like a dead goat.
Yeah.
Taking us down a weird route.
A dead goat.
Life was speaking of dead goats.
Just walking down the pit there. There's another dead goat. I've got a dead goat at turn 4. Can we get the
clear that up?
Can we get the goat clear?
Clear that up. We'll get the race going again.
Oh god.
What is it with Brazil and goats? They're not fucking them. They're not losing their virginities to them. They're killing them off. So the season carries on.
Season carries on. Michael Schumacher wins his first. New goat, and it's Michael Schumacher wins his first.
No comment. So I'll go down that road.
New goat on the scene, yeah. Mountain goat.
I was about to say the same. Turns out not much of a mountain goat. So Schumacher wins.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is when Michael Schumacher sort of becomes.
It's his first title.
Okay.
They always say it was the worst car to win a world title. He had 3 different teammates during that season, including Jos Verstappen. Max's dad. Bit of a
absolute
nutter.
shit.
We've talked about him before in other episodes. He's a real nasty piece of work, actually. Going into the final race, Schumacher's 1 point ahead of Ayrton Senna's teammate, Damon Hill. And on lap 36 of that race, they collide.
That looks, Schumacher's off. Schumacher's lost time. Yeah. Hill goes by. Oh, out goes Schumacher. The Germany's out of the Australian Grand Prix. And
so if you listen to this on audio, there's a crash at a turn, and the two of them basically collide. Schumacher goes straight off into the tyres, and Damon Hill actually continues, but his car ends up being so badly damaged that he also retires. So the two of them are out of the race, which means, of course, that Michael Schumacher wins the title. But, this is obviously causes massive controversy because it suited Michael Schumacher very well. And there are some allegations swirling in certain circles that Schumacher maybe had that on his mind from the start.
Yeah, he kamikazed him, didn't he?
A bit.
Although he always denies it, and apparently Damon Hill also denies that Schumacher was trying to take him out. But if you look at it, he just, I'm no expert, but he really just tries to cut him off in the corner, and it works.
I mean, Schumacher, he's famous for these.
Yeah, there's going to be more of these
aggressive moves. We'll come on to it later, but he
it's kamikaze, isn't it?
Yeah, he's super aggressive and kind of pushing other drivers into just backing off.
I remember this being I guess this becomes the sort of the origin of Schumacher hate in England because he'd done it to a British driver. Yeah. And he sort of he gets a bad rep from that point onwards. That was Murray Walker commentating as well. We haven't talked about
legend of
voice of F1
commentary. Yeah,
he was F1 commentator for 25 years. It's weird. He's got a really recognizable, distinctive voice, and he was doing it for a long time. I don't know how good a commentator he was. He had a bit of a rep for Michael Owen style commentary gaffes. Yeah. Got a couple here. He said, "There's nothing wrong with the car except it's on fire." And then he said, "The lead car is unique, except for the one behind it, which is identical." And yet that voice just immediately brings back the really nostalgia.
Does. Yeah,
I think he was quite pro Damon Hill, and quite sort of neggy about that Schumacher thing. Fair enough.
Yeah,
bastard. Yeah. Also, Damon Hill's teammate had been killed in a crash earlier that season. It's fuck it, I'll crash into him.
Yeah, pretty ruthless bastard, really.
He was a ruthless bastard off the track as well, because he ended up marrying his rival's ex, Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Do you remember him? If that wasn't bad enough, having nicked his girlfriend in the mid-90s, he then drives Frentzen off the track in 1998. We got a clip of it here. So he's coming out the pits, Schumacher. 9-second stop, if you're wondering. Quite a long stop. Oh, here he comes. He literally just goes straight across the track.
You cannot do that.
And Heinz-Harald Frenzen's off. Fucking hell. These Formula One graphics, for me, are the really nostalgic ones.
That and the sort of yellow.
Yeah, yellow squares and blue ovals.
This is unbelievably.
He comes straight
out of the pits and just
closes him off.
Frenzen's coming down the home straight, fastest part of the track, and Schumacher just cuts in front of him and pushes him into the gravel.
I do think Heinz-Harald Frentzen is a name that really transports me.
There are some great names.
Giancarlo Fisichella was one I saw earlier.
Giancarlo. Honestly, these names just put me back onto being 10 years old, sat on the sofa, watching F1. Who else is there?
Johnny Herbert, I saw.
Johnny Herbert.
Maybe a bit early.
Jarno Trulli.
Jarno Trulli.
Wait, can we actually get up
Just
the
F1 standings.
F1 grid?
What year do you want?
2000 I mean, we're doing a 90s episode, but maybe 2004. That's more my
I could
era.
yeah. Olivier Panis. Do you remember Olivier Panis?
Yeah.
Mark Webber.
Oh, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Montoya. Nick Heidfeld.
Yeah.
Olivier Panis. There is Villeneuve. He's coming up. Takuma Sato.
Takuma Sato. What a name.
Verstappen, there he is.
There are some unbelievable. I mean, Rubens Barrichello for me is just
that's
Mika Hakkinen.
Mika Hakkinen. Timo Glock. I saw earlier. Do you remember him? It's so weird because I was thinking about these names. I've literally not heard them since like. This is
basically like naming mid-table Premier League players from the noughties.
Mika Salo, Eddie Irvine, Alexander Wirtz, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Gaston Mazzacane,
Pedro Diniz. Like the way they're delivered on F1 commentary, just like the excitement in the air and like with the sound of the cars whizzing past, like Giancarlo Fisichella on the outside.
Yeah, it is like naming random mid-table players, isn't it? Anyway, Schumacher is sort of the king of them, and he does usher in this new era, right? Where like the Playboys of sort of the early 90s, late 80s have been replaced by this new wave of uber professional, soulless corporate fucks. Because Michael Schumacher is a bit like, he's like the sort of Tiger Woods, Johnny Wilkinson thing, which is like, I'm going to elevate this sport to new professionalism.
It's like the Arsene Wenger of F1.
Yeah, the Mars Bars are banned, and in they come. So Mika Hakkinen, bit of a boring fuck, I think. He said, I want to be world champion, and I'm dedicated to that. You don't have room to play around and do crazy things as well.
Yeah.
Boring.
Out.
He did win the title a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah.
Actually, Schumacher did have a bit of a party streak, to be fair to him. So there's this famous party he threw after winning 2003 title. He was in Suzuka, and him, Kimi Räikkönen, and Ralf Schumacher and the Ferrari crew had like this mad party where, you know, they're having beers and Cuban cigars in the garage, and it ended. Ralf Schumacher threw a TV out the window. It's quite rock and roll.
Yeah.
Michael stole a forklift truck. Have you seen those pictures of him before?
Yeah.
Driving it around. So, you know.
There's a good photo of Michael at that party with his like still wearing his overalls, but like ripped open, covered in champagne.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'll give him that. Luckily, there are still plenty of Playboys on the grid. They're just not the ones winning the races. And actually, in 1994, Grand Prix magazine ran this unhinged article about the secret sex lives of F1 drivers. I'll read out. This is the subheading of the whole article. Are the drivers as hungry for sex as they are for success? And are they constantly pestered by drooling pit lane popsies begging for a sound seeing too? Or have the F1 heroes of today discovered AIDS and monogamy?
I mean, I've got to say, if you read that as a byline to an article, you are reading. That is an incredible sentence. Drooling pit lane popsies begging for a sound seeing to.
I've never heard popsy.
Popsy's drooling pit.
Yeah, I sort of get it. I also just love the just residual fear of AIDS at all times. At all fucking times. Yeah. Kind of remember that from when I was younger. Like I was born in 89. I was actually born on an AIDS ward, but
really?
Yeah, because you know, have you ever watched It's a Sin? And they have those wards they like lock people on. It's really horrible. But they also then got used as just like overflow in hospitals. So yeah, I was born on one of them.
Alongside AIDS people.
No. I think it was cleared. Sorry, weird tangent. But I do remember I remember my dad like sharing this like, I want to say it was a fax, and it was kind of like a viral email type thing, being like, there are people planting AIDS-riddled syringes in cinemas and stuff. Like, be careful. Everyone was scared of AIDS back then. Is my point. Anyway, elsewhere in this article, we hear that Martin Brundle, beloved sort of pit lane interviewer and pundit, Brundle has, quote, no restrictions when it comes to shagging.
What does that mean?
Anything goes.
Anything.
If it's not nailed down, it's going in his arse. No restrictions.
I mean, looking at his sort of like cheeky pit lane persona, he doesn't strike me as the sort of man who has no restrictions.
Switches the DRS on in the bedroom.
I don't even really want to picture that.
I like it. It's sort of, it's a bit of like imagining your parents having sex, isn't it? Martin Brundle.
Yeah.
Sort of a cuddly figure.
Incredible chassis.
The article also says that in the early 80s, An unnamed but leading F1 driver was late to a race because he was having sex with a Monaco princess on the bonnet of his car in an underground parking lot. I mean, that's glamorous.
That's top tier. That's like the era when F1 and James Bond were pretty similar. That could be a James Bond plot.
Yeah. How many Monaco princesses are there? I feel like that narrows it down quite a lot. Grace Kelly, was she queen by then? I feel like there's probably only a few.
Yeah.
I reckon the driver's probably someone we've mentioned in this episode. If I had to guess.
Alan
Prosty.
Alan Prost, I wouldn't be.
Definitely. Princess Grace. Could have been her. Can't libel the dead. If I had to guess, I'm going Prosty or Senna.
Yeah, could be.
There was also a quote from the article that said, in one current F1 team, before every session, the two drivers find the PR girl and beg to fondle her breasts, telling her, we might be killed in this race. Just casually cashing in on their colleague's death there.
Yeah. That's where this article was 94. This is the same season that Senna died.
Yeah.
And they're using his death to...
Yeah. You'd have to say Ayrton Senna's death was not greeted with the sort of like...
reverence
it deserved. The gravity, the levity. Yeah. You're either back on the track, spraying champagne, or you're like cashing in on it to shag a PR girl. Yeah. There is something quite RAF 1940 about that. It's quite Battle of Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like before I get in my kite, let me have one last grope of the typist.
Yeah, I mean, it was dangerous. They had a point.
Yeah, they had a point. Had a point. Yeah. Anyway, back on the track, the following season, Hill and Schumacher collide twice again. So it's like this running thing.
Yeah.
That Schumacher's colliding with his rivals. But in 1996, actually, Damon Hill does finally win it. He beats his teammates, Jacques Villeneuve. He beats him in second. Jacques Villeneuve's dad died racing as well.
In the 80s,
yeah, it's crazy. And actually, Damon Hill's dad was a famous driver as well, Graham Hill. And then the following season, it's Schumacher and Villeneuve who are vying for the title. And it's the exact same situation going into the final race. 1 point separates them. Schumacher in the lead. And so, Shuey, the wily old fox that he is, he only goes and tries the same old trick of deliberately colliding with Villeneuve. This time, it doesn't go so well.
5.9 on that last lap. I wonder if he's got something like a slow puncture or some kind of gear shift problem, because Villeneuve is all over him. Look, he's going through. Oh, yes. I don't think.
Out goes Michael Schumacher.
That didn't work. That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend. I don't think that will cause Villeneuve a problem.
Two thoughts there about the commentary, mainly. Murray has let the occasion get to him. He comes out so high-pitched, and then he can't really gather himself.
He's Team Villeneuve, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Martin Brundle certainly is.
Yeah.
He's literally like, it didn't work. I think that's for Damon.
Yeah.
Serves you right for Muscat sort of flavour to it.
Got to say, in that one in particular, you could see Schumacher swerving. Like they're both coming around the corner, and you see the moment where he just goes.
Yeah, so apparently that one he later admitted was deliberate.
Yeah.
But he's never owned up to the Damon Hill one.
Really? Okay. I mean, could it be that the Damon Hill one was just... It was actually a
Damon Hill thinks
incident.
so. Yeah. But yeah, Schumacher apparently later was like, that one, I did that on purpose. I watched that live, I remember, and there was a big sense of like, have that, you fucking cunt. Justice. Serve you right for Muscat. Good to see Martin Brundle just absolutely reveling in it.
Yeah.
When he's not getting up to when he's not getting up to all sorts.
When he's not clutching a bottle of baby oil and
one of Martin's freak-offs.
Yeah.
Pit lane interviews with Pink Pantheress taking on a different vibe now. Anyway, if you're hoping that Jacques Villeneuve celebrates with champagne-fueled excess, you're going to be disappointed, right?
If you're hoping that Jacques will celebrate with a bit of champagne-fueled excess, you might be a bit disappointed. Because Jacques, he didn't really live up to the sort of F1 Playboy stereotype. So he dated Danny Minogue for a little bit.
That is quite
that's quite A-list, B-list.
B-list, quite is it?
Not quite A, but still. Danny actually ended up dumping him though, because basically he was too much of a boring fuck for her. So she did an interview after they broke up in the News of the World where she said, there'd be me still wanting to go out with my mates to parties, go to the cinema. But for Jacques, when he wasn't away, he just liked to play Dungeons and Dragons for hours on the net. Jacques liked to shut himself away where no one could see him.
Love it.
I like, especially on the net.
Yeah. Surfing the web.
Yeah.
So he's an early video
early
gamer.
adopter of the internet. Yeah,
I like as well. All she wants to do is go to the cinema. She's not asking for like a fucking all-night bender. We just go and see Titanic, Jack. No. Dungeons and Dragons on some dial-up internet.
I'm picturing, it's quite like comic book guy in The Simpsons. Just like,
isn't Verstappen Verstappen's a big like gamer?
Is he? Yeah.
I'm sure I remember.
Probably Fortnite.
Well, yeah, when he was first coming up, he celebrated a win by just gaming like all night. It's a bit like,
yeah, it's not what you want.
You're not getting Danny Minogue with that sort of
No.
antics. Actually, Jacques Villeneuve also went out with Natalie Imbruglia, so
did he?
Australian
Okay, all right.
singers.
Yeah. Got a type.
Yeah, weren't they both in Neighbours? Maybe. Who cares?
Fortunately, there are a couple of others sexing things up on the grid, including, we mentioned before, Eddie Irvine, the Irish heartthrob. So Eddie, he joined Ferrari in 1986, where he was partnered with Michael Schumacher, unstoppable at that point. Eddie said later, partnering Michael's just like arriving at every race and getting hit on the head with a cricket bat for 4 days, which you could read in a number of ways, judging by Michael's driving on the track.
I doubt he does his teammates many favours.
No, I don't think so. It's just imagine even on the test runs, Michael's probably unscrewing Eddie's wheel bolts. But anyway, while Michael might have had Eddie's number on the track, off it there was no competition really. So Eddie, who's rumoured to have hooked up with, among others, Kate Moss, Kylie Minogue, Liz Hurley, Pamela Anderson. That's A-list.
That's like the top four, isn't it, of the
really.
era?
It was, yeah.
I'm struggling to think of bigger names than that.
Well,
the goats.
Claudia Schiffer, who he was a bit less flattering about, actually. He said, to be honest, I was disappointed in Claudia when I met her. I just thought she was fat as a pig. It's awful. It's not. Fat as a pig. It's quite... I mean, Claudia Schiffer is not fat as a pig.
No, was she ever? I don't think so.
No.
She was, yeah.
Like,
do you think she turned him down? Fat as a pig? That's mental.
Yeah.
He said it's awful. Well, like he's actually quite sad about it. That's absolutely mental.
It's just, actually there's a few of his comments that say haven't aged particularly well. So he did an interview once where he was asked about his success with women, and he replied, "You've got to knock them back a few times. And if a woman lets you walk on her, you walk on her. And then you walk away. Women like being treated like pieces of shit."
What's the context for saying that? Just like lads mag interviews.
I think
treat him mean.
Yeah,
that's his policy.
Yeah,
different times.
It definitely was. 1999, he did finally win his first Grand Prix with Ferrari. And, it's an amazing moment for any driver. It's what you dream of, really, growing up. And he was asked to put it into words by a reporter. And he replied in a very Eddie Irvine fashion, "Incredible. Like having sex with the best 10 girls in the world. Then again, I'd like to try that as well, just to be sure."
To be fair, he has had sex with the best 4. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
That list is insane.
I don't know, with Eddie Irvine, I sort of, I mean, no doubt he did have quite a few conquests, but I do wonder if he's one of these people who talks so much about having sex that you just, I don't know, it's like, did that actually happen?
It's also a bit pound shop George Best, isn't it? And I guess because Eddie Irvine's from Northern Ireland, isn't he?
Yeah, he's...
Do you think there's an element of like, I need to be... The two people I think he's trying to riff on there are George Best and Sterling Moss, the driver from an earlier era, who was all about his crumpet. What I always find so weird about Sterling Moss is he kept a little black book in which he recorded every conquest.
Yeah.
Which loads of people are always like, that's fucking awesome. It's like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
It's a sort of autistic womanizer combo. It's quite unusual. Anyway, I think Eddie Irvine is trying to do the George Best thing.
Yeah, that's he's definitely
not quite as good at the like lyrical finish on it.
I don't know. I mean, I was going through like tabloid archives looking for Eddie Irvine stories, and he cropped up in a couple of like interviews with other 90s female celebs, just like Q&A type things, and it was like, who's your celeb crush? And a couple of them, it was like that Irish F1 driver, Eddie Irvine.
He's good looking.
He was a good looking guy, and he's a famous F1 driver.
Yeah,
so
I believe that he shagged a lot.
Yeah, it can't be too hard.
Not questioning his record.
So actually that 99 season is Eddie's best ever. narrowly misses out on the Drivers' Championship to Mika Hakkinen, comes down to the final race.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the reason that Eddie was even in the hunt, though, for that season was because Michael Schumacher missed 6 races with a broken leg.
Oh, right, yeah.
So
this is the Mika Hakkinen era.
Yeah, Mika Hakkinen won
Boring
back-to-back titles in the late 90s. But as Eddie was in the midst of this tight title race with Mika, you'd think that he'd have the whole of Ireland behind him, dreaming of an Irish champion. Although there was one Irish hero who was not in Eddie's corner, and that was Ronan Keating. Because at the end of that season, Eddie published his autobiography where he revealed that he'd shagged Ronan Keating's wife, Yvette Connolly, just before they got married.
Which in his book.
In his book, yeah. Didn't go down too well with Ronan. So Ronan did an interview afterwards where he said, I feel sorry for Eddie's mother and father having someone like that in their family. He's spineless. He's just a spineless slime ball. He doesn't deserve success.
So literally the two of Ireland's favourite children, favourite sons at war.
Exactly.
Surely Yvette's got to take some blame. Ronan.
Yeah.
If you're listening. I don't know what became of their marriage.
Yeah.
It's not a great start.
No.
What I think is interesting is that he just whacked it in his book.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I mean, I kind of, like we said, he's one who likes dining out on those stories.
Yeah, but also it's just an era where people are just so much more outspoken and like candid, almost like outrageous to the press for fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that point it's like they actually made money off their book, so putting in those sort of lurid details is good. Whereas now it's just like, if you talk about that in any interview, then it's going to be clipped up on TikTok within minutes.
Be on the pod.
Eddie's pretty liberal attitude towards sex possibly explains his response when one of his young Jaguar teammates was caught curb crawling in Northampton a few years later.
Where? Northampton?
Northampton. It got sacked. It was one of the Jaguar test drivers. I think, and he got sacked for it.
Oh, because that's where all the teams are based, isn't it? Northampton.
Yeah, I think it is.
I just think if you're going curb crawling and you're very good at driving a car fast, go a bit further afield than Northampton.
I think you and Eddie might be agreed on that. So Eddie's response when this guy got sacked was, "That's a shame for the boy. I think it's a big penalty to pay for something like that. In the 21st century, it's quite ridiculous, really. I think he should live in Milan. It's a lot cheaper there, and there's a lot more selection."
It sounds like he's talking about food.
Yeah.
Selection. To be fair, I'm willing to believe there's more selection in Milan than Northampton. Seems like a mental place to have a sort of curb crawling district.
Yeah, I wish I did.
That also, I like the way he's like, it's the 21st century, as if like
curb crawling. Yeah, we've had women's rights now. What about curb crawling?
What year is it that we're still condemning curb crawling? Shows how much things have changed, doesn't it?
Yeah. It will surprise you to hear that Eddie Irvine popped up on the Epstein list. So he admitted that he was actually fairly good mates with Ghislaine Maxwell, and went to parties with her and with Epstein, and I believe Bill Clinton as well in New York.
So this isn't like his name's in the emails because of an alert about an F1 race. This is like,
no, there was like correspondence.
My place at 9, bring the fucking baby oil.
Yeah, I don't know if, I mean, there's much like a lot of these people who've cropped up in the Epstein files. No suggestion that Eddie did anything wrong at all. And I think he said that he never saw anything
and we
underage.
We apologise to him and his family. He's still going.
Towards the end of his career, his womanizing was still in full swing. Although he did actually say, he said, "My worry is becoming the oldest swinger in town. I don't want to grow into one of those sad characters with a model young enough to be his daughter on his arm." 2015, he was photographed on a $12 million super yacht with 3 topless models who were about 20.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
He's having fun though, isn't he? He pops up occasionally in coverage.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah, he's
a bit like David Coulthard. To me, in my mind, they were in the similar category, which is like, I mean, Eddie is sort of Irish, but they're from the British Isles. They were always finishing sort of like 5th. I'd actually say Coulthard never really quite hit Irvine's heights in racing or shagging, but he was a bit of a playboy, literally. So I found an interview with him in 2010 when they asked him who his hero was, and he went for Hugh Hefner. And then I also found an old kiss and tell on Coulthard from when he was still driving, where they're describing, I wouldn't quite call it an orgy, but it's basically like him and a group of mates they're all shagging in this like hotel suite. They're not really swapping around. So I don't know if you call that an orgy. It's a bubble bath shag fest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bubble baths. And the girl who sold the kiss and tell, because Coulthard was engaged, she said, I don't really like the idea of comparing making love to driving a Formula One car, but I suppose you could say he had a race plan. Right.
I don't like it, but I will.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Also, there's a clip of Coulthard dropping a little innuendo into an interview. I say innuendo, just hear it for yourself.
You've been practicing with that pit lane speed limiter.
Yeah, I have. I've just been imagining it's your nipple, so I'm being a bit more gentle with it when I take my finger off it at the end of the pit lane.
Thank you very much, David. Back to you.
Yes, yeah, thanks very much indeed for that one, David. That's fantastic.
So I learned Jim Rosenthal presenting F1 being like, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've always viewed Coulthard as a bit of a sort of pantomime dame figure. I don't know if it's just me, like quite camp.
Yeah, he is.
He does a lot of innuendo. Look, we're looking at a picture of him naked on a beach where he said something about being cheeky. I just think you put a bit of blue eyeshadow and a feather boa on that guy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
Yeah.
there's a campness there.
Yeah.
He's a bit ooh matron.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think big shagger. So I wanted to mention him. However, just as Coulthard's hitting his racing peak in the late 90s, a new sex symbol emerges in F1 to blow all the others out of the water. And no, I'm not referring to Giancarlo Fisichella. It is, of course.
Yeah, I know, truly. Takuma Sato.
That sex symbol. It's Mr. Nick Heidfeld. Mr. Felipe Massa. It's Hein Harold Frentzen, everybody. No, Katie
Hein
Price.
Harold Frentzen is
Hein
probably the least sexy name on the grid.
Frentzen and Fisichella for me. I couldn't tell you anything about them apart from their names. Yeah, it's Katie Price's time.
Okay.
This is her moment. This is when Jordan arrives on the scene. So Lads Mags have come to really dominate. You know, they're selling so many copies. And Eddie Jordan, wily fox that he is, notices this trend and decides to capitalize it and starts marketing the Jordan team with more sex. I said before, Grid Girls have been around for a while, but this is like a much brasher way of like draping them over the cars in hot pants. It's less Bond girl and more sort of page 3 girl.
Yeah.
So Melinda Messenger is another a popular choice for him, and Katie Price. So Katie Price she was already getting quite big through glamour modeling, basically. She'd done page 3 since she was 18. 2 years later, she first appears on the F1 grid at the Spanish Grand Prix. Here she is, straddling a yellow Jordan car in hot pants.
God, the number of photographers that are around her.
Yeah, it's
you could see this is, I mean, that was basically his plan, Eddie Jordan, wasn't it? To inject this like glamour and get Jordan on the front pages. I mean, that's where she got the name Jordan.
Yeah,
from,
that's why
isn't
she's
it?
called Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's named after the team. She really cuts through in a way that none of the other ones do. But yeah, it's just like more people are going to see the B&H ad, so I can sell more sponsorships. That picture is like feeding time at the zoo, though. The amount of photographers just. Anyway, so Katie becomes a megastar very quickly. What I've realized looking through old newspaper cuttings is basically the Sun put her on page 3 a lot and then would do like coverage about her. They basically turned her into a celebrity. The Daily Mirror describe her as a bazooka-chested Brit glamour model who she started off at 32B and she basically becomes famous for the boob jobs at the start because she goes all the way up to a 32 double F. The Sun start holding referendums on her boob jobs. So it'll be like,
whether she should go up another size.
They'd literally be like, Katie's currently a 32C, but she's got a $4,000 operation booked tomorrow. And we want you to decide whether she should go ahead with it or not. And it's like her boyfriend being like, no, I like her how she is. The headline was, my boobs are in your hands, which is good.
Oh, good.
It actually led to the Sun to have a bit of an identity crisis. So they hold a poll called, should the Sun page 3 be a silicon-free zone?
Okay.
You're wondering who wins? It's not obvious, I don't think.
I kind of feel like that's what they go in for, really.
Well, you'd be surprised because they hold it, you can phone in for one or the other, and it is a landslide win for the big naturals.
Oh, really?
82% of the vote. And the Sun promptly banned bolt-ons from page 3. No more silicon. Although I should say they do cheat a bit.
Is this going to be one of those things like more people turned out of that than the general election?
No, I actually looked and it was like 5,000 votes. So
The local elections, maybe.
I noticed they also categorized it that women were even more in favor of no bolt-ons.
Okay.
Don't know why. Anyway, they do cheat a bit, I should say, because they just start putting women with boob jobs topless on page 7 instead of page 3. Because they did only say page 3.
Yeah.
Sort of cheating. Anyway, Katie doesn't care. So she does a couple of these referendums and she steps down at the last minute and doesn't get the boob job. But then once she starts breaking through in F1, she sort of moves beyond page 3, doesn't need them. And she's moving on to bigger things. She's actually getting quite close to the drivers, especially Ralf Schumacher, who's driving for Jordan. So Ralf, obviously Michael's younger brother, not quite as successful, but a big name from the era. So, not even the best driver in his family. And Ralf Schumacher, he takes a real interest to Katie Price. Unfortunately for him, Katie has a boyfriend. She is, of course, engaged to Ace from Gladiators. Of course. And they're really loved up. But Ace starts to get a bit suspicious when he answers Katie's phone a few times and a voice on the other end of the line says, "It's Ralph, can you get Kate?" And he's like, who's Ralph? And she's like, "Oh, a guy from work," which,
sort of true.
When you work in the industry Katie Price works in, that could be anyone. But yeah, he notices there's some chemistry and eventually she bloody jilts poor Ace, ditches him and starts dating Ralf Schumacher. We're looking at a picture of them here where Ralph is carrying Katie after a race. She's got like sort of knee-high sort of Lara Crofty boots. This is her
great picture.
It's a great picture. Really conjures up the era. They're in that iconic yellow. You got Benson and Hedges. But it turns out that dating Ralf Schumacher is not exactly life in the fast lane. Here's a newspaper article from the time. Topless model Jordan eased her beautiful chassis between the sheets for a night of passion with Grand Prix ace Ralf Schumacher. Then discovered his pistons weren't firing like she'd hoped. The stunning brunette thought she'd have a full throttle experience when German speed king Ralf invited her for a cozy break at his home in Monaco. But she was amazed when the 23-year-old driver put his arms around her body, gave her a cuddle, and fell asleep. And it didn't just happen once. Jordan felt like she was going round in circles when it occurred 4 nights in a row. Damning.
That is.
And then they break up eventually, and she gives another interview about it. And she said, "Nothing's ever happened though. Some men don't make moves because they're either very respectable, a virgin, or gay." And fast forward 25 years, I'll just read out a headline for you. F1 legend Ralf Schumacher to marry boyfriend after coming out as gay in 2024. So yeah, Katie, you were her gaydars still working. Wasn't so accurate on Peter Andre. I always got kind of that vibe from, but never mind.
Oh, good for Ralph.
Yeah, it took him a long time to come out because he was married for a long time.
Was
after
he?
That.
Yeah.
But all's well that ends well. He's getting married.
because I listened to Katie Price was on the Louis Theroux podcast. I listened to it a while back, and I think it must have been before Ralph had actually come out because she was very much insinuating it there as well.
Oh, really?
That he was gay, yeah.
So she clocked it.
I think she must have done, yeah.
Ace from Gladiators has got to be fuming. Like, don't... I'm sure Ralph didn't fully understand himself back then, but it's like, don't take her and then waste it. Yeah. Poor old Ace. I don't know what became of Ace from Gladiators.
No.
I know someone told me that Rhino runs a taxi firm called Rhino Cabs.
Really?
Yeah.
I was never...
I reckon it's a bit before your time. Isn't it?
I didn't really...
Here we go. Ace from Gladiators, real name Warren Furman.
Born again Christian and runs...
What, he's a vicar? Oh my God. Yeah, he's now a vicar. Now an evangelist. Sounds unqualified to me. Involved in Christian ministry. Sorry.
He runs a cult.
Yeah. That's quite a journey from dating Katie Price, having her stolen from you by Ralf Schumacher, to now vicar.
Does that drive you to become a born again Christian?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to see the light after that. That's mental.
Yeah.
Can you imagine meeting up with your vicar and him revealing that?
Used to be a gladiator.
Also, it used to be Ace from Gladiators. That's wild. Anyway, so that's, I mean, Katie Price, after that, she sort of moves on to bigger and better things. I think we're going to do an episode.
I think we've got to. We've sort of skirted around the idea for a while.
While researching this, I found some very funny Katie Price stories from that era, but we'll save those.
The sort of alternative Queen of England. Anyway, by the noughties, the sort of real naughty 90s era was coming to an end. The likes of Eddie Irvine were retiring. Murray Walker hung up his mic as well.
I remember
Jordan.
I watched a documentary with Murray Walker after he retired, like 2 years later. They're catching up with him. and it was just him in his front room watching the Grand Prix and just commentating to himself.
Oh, I like that.
Why stop?
Arguably, the naughty 90s era really ends when Sauber banned Raikkonen and his teammate from sex before races.
Oh yeah, it's always a big obsession in F1, isn't it? Do you shag before races?
I mean, yeah, I feel like in the 90s there was quite a lot of obsession with it in sport in general.
Yeah, I remember hearing that Ruud Gullit had banned the Newcastle squad from shagging before games and being like captivated by this fact. I was about 9, didn't even really know what it meant, but I was just like, wow. But I then was so captivated by it that we had some like family friends around for lunch, and they were girls my age, and I told all of them about it. I was like, do you know Ruud Gullit has banned the Newcastle squad from having sex for a game? And they were like, what? And then like later that day, my mum took me aside and was like, don't say stuff like that to girls. And I still don't know today, did she overhear me or did they go to their mum and be like,
what does that mean?
Yeah, who's Ruud Gullit? Who's Norberto Solano? And why is he not having sex before the big League Cup game? But yeah, I do think we read a lot of 90s press coverage, and a lot of sports coverage was like, it does having sex before a game ruin your edge, which now I feel like it's a bit like, who cares?
Yeah. Do what you want, really.
Yeah. Just be careful, because AIDS is still a risk.
Don't pick up syringes in the cinema. Alternative end to the 90s. You know how sometimes they say that decades end, like the millennium ended in 2000 with 9/11.
The 90s ended with
9/11 type thing. Alternative ending when Eddie Jordan sells Jordan in 2005, because he was sort of the last of those great buccaneering teams that we mentioned. All became after that quite
major manufacturers. Because there was a Prost team in the 90s. There was Sauber.
Yeah,
a lot of those
Bar Honda.
Yeah. Well, I think that's actually owned by British American Tobacco.
True, you're right. Yeah.
It's about as evil corporate as it gets. But still, yeah, those like startup-y ones.
Yeah.
Arrows.
Yeah. So Eddie, he ended up selling the team to this Russian oligarch, new era, really, in 2005. But even then, he had one last trick up his sleeve. So he sold this Russian oligarch the factory, which was opposite Silverstone. But in the deal, he didn't include the land around the factory, and then erected concrete bollards across the entrance. and apparently charged them extortionate rent to use their own driveway.
That's amazing.
Factory is great.
That's quite sort of Flavio Briatore vibe, Bernie Eccleston crew. I guess they were all mates. We haven't talked about those guys because obviously, you know, maybe the end of that F1 era is when Max Mosley gets caught in his Nazi orgy. Yeah. Which we should do a separate.
I think we can do a whole episode.
I think we should do an episode on those sort of owners and blazers guys, the Ecclestons, the Briatores, because there's quite a lot in there.
There's plenty more, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the end of it, isn't it? Now it's quite nerdy now. It's lost me.
Yeah, I mean I loved it in the noughties, and I
think once Takuma Sato's hung up his
it's not the same without Yana Truly for me. Yeah, I mean it's Drive to Survive has sort of tried to inject back in a bit of that like personal behind the scenes drama, but I don't know, for me it's too clean. It's too
Christian Horner.
I mean, apart from Christian Horner, yeah.
I
don't know. It seems like a lot of it comes down now to just rules, and I mean it was obviously always down to like engineering and engines. And
you saying there's not enough crashes?
There's not enough crashes.
There's not enough risk.
Yeah.
I think even the Christian Horner sex scandal was a bit like, it was just like a man like jizzing his pants on a plane sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
It was a private jet.
It was a bit fucking like solo mobile phony rather than being like out there in a club.
Yeah.
Kimi Räikkönen, we could do an episode on.
Kimi Räikkönen
he's got some funny stories.
Yeah.
I think this was the last great glamour. As you said at the beginning, it's where the money's coming in, so they're enjoying the mad lifestyle, but they haven't yet become the Mars bars haven't been banned quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Great era.
Yeah.
Take me back. Favorite character before we go?
Ooh,
apart from your physicality, yeah.
Apart from Juan Pablo Montoya. Oh God, who have we talked about?
I think Katie Price's side. She's not a driver. I think I'm going for.
I think I've got to stick to my boy Ralph Schumacher.
Gerhard Berger for me. Prankster. The cock and balls passport photo.
Yeah, that is
stuff.
good. Yeah,
Good stuff.
Yeah, classic.
And I'm glad they all just like had a wild old time. I think Eddie Irvine was showing off. He'd had too much sun. He was overtired. Too much sunny delight.
Yeah,
and he was playing up to it. I think he's probably all right.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He comes across as he's a bit of a cheeky chap.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's.
It was the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We did do another F1 episode about earlier era. So if you want more of that, if you want like the era where it is proper sort of like fighter pilot, a lot of us will die, and there are some quite like wacky racers moments. There's people doing like the Le Mans 24-hour. Where they're like necking coffee and whiskey to like stay awake, but also relaxed. And I don't know, there's some other sort of like japes. That's a good one. I think it's called Wrong-uns of F1. We did it quite a long time ago. Bad Boys of F1. It was about 18 months ago. So check that out if you want more. If that's not enough petrol for you. Otherwise, thanks a lot, Zach.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.